Y'all, let me tell you about, let me tell you something. My God, uh, let me tell y'all something. For real, let me tell y'all something. Hey, what's going on, y'all? I hope life is good. And if it ain't, I hope it gets better. And hey, maybe this podcast will play a part in making that happen. So sit back, listen, hang a bit, laugh with me, laugh at me. All that matters is you're here. This podcast starts right now. Enjoy. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Blaze. I'm somebody's dad just figuring it out. It's the name of this podcast, and I appreciate you taking a moment to listen to it. Now, I am under no illusion that you could be doing a whole bunch of different things. You could be listening to a whole lot of different things. There's some phenomenal things out there to listen to. And yet, you have chosen to give me some time in your life. I appreciate it. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do my very best to give you reason to listen again after this. Now, before I get into anything, I'm going to get something straight right out the gate. I'm going to be general on most things. I'm going to be specific on a few. But regardless of what I say, I ain't no guru boo-boo. Listen, you help me, I help you. And then at the end of it all, if, we're better versions of ourselves, which I believe we can be, we're going to call that a W. Cool? Y'all, I've had a weekend. And maybe you did too. And maybe having a weekend is different from what I did. Maybe your weekend was not crazy and you just had nothing to do, which are some of the most phenomenal weekends when you've got nothing to do. Because then if you do something, it's because I felt like it, not because I had to. It's just one of them times where if you can just sit around and just enjoy comfort, lounging, peace, I envy you. Because that is not the weekend I had. I was at a dance competition because my wife owns a dance studio. Now, that has been a huge blessing to our family. But what comes with that is a lot. And that's cool. Now, we went to a place called Supply, North Carolina. If you've never heard of it, that's okay, because I didn't either until we went there. All I know is it's down east. Like, I got family in Little Washington, Wilmington. So it's about an hour from Wilmington, you know. So I'm familiar with where it was, but I didn't know this thing existed. Just like I didn't know North Carolina had a Dallas. Like, I didn't know what a Chocowinity was for the longest time, and my family is from right around that area. It is what it is. We in Supply. And this was the first competition of the season. Let me say this. I had some takeaways, some things that I learned, some things that I thought about, I observed, and just I want to share them with you. And here's the cool thing. Dance dads will already know this. I already know you know this. Why? Because you are my people, or I've become your people. Cheer dads will understand this because you ain't too different. All I know is it's a lot. And yet, some of you who are listening to this are either going to be dance or cheer dads, or you are, or maybe you are retired dance or cheer dad because your children are no longer at a studio. They're either dancing in college, cheering for some team, or I don't know, just not making you spend a whole bunch of money to take them to um, rehearsals and practice every night of the week. Listen up, y'all. I went to this this competition. There is a certain chaos about these competitions. There is a method to the madness, but it's not necessarily something you get right off the bat. As you're in it, you start to see and feel the rhythm, even though it is crazy. And one of the things that can typically smack you in the face is the level of emotion that is present at a competition. Because you have to remember, it's not as though every venue you go to is going to be this huge arena. A lot of them are college auditoriums, maybe hotels, right? That lends itself to there being a whole lot of people in a very compact space. That always brings about some interesting situations, doesn't it? So let's talk about a few. One, you've got a lot of girls and boys who are dancing who are experiencing hormonal changes. Because they're what, like 10, 11, 12, 13? Yeah, you got your 16, 17, 18s and whatnot, but still, they're like that preteen, teen age. Oh my gosh. God bless them. They're just going through it, right? Learning new things, feeling new things, and so on and so forth. And to be quite honest, making things that really aren't that big a deal in the long run humongous mountains that are about to fall on top of them. And again, you and I as parents know, because we older, we understand that we were stupid like that too, but we got older and got over it. They're in the midst of it, so we give them grace. In all of this chaos, you find that kids who would normally be meek, mild, chill, not confrontational, not ridiculous, might be a bit much. Some changes happen, and not necessarily because of them being in the environment, more so the environment getting into them a little bit. Just kind of how that works. You know, you hang around a place long enough, it's going to get on you or in you. Life lesson number one. Yeah. So, what I would say to any dance dad who is kind of just getting into this, um, prepare yourself because you may not recognize your child. Because you got to remember, these kids are about to go on stage. They're nervous. Some of them have never competed before. Some of them have competed. And some of them take competition very seriously. Others are about to experience what happens when you don't get the results that you want from the work you didn't put in. So you got to deal with that. You're going to have to deal with, and typically this is moms who love their babies so much. That's my baby. They could do no wrong. They are angels. They are always right. No, your children are ridiculous, just like every other child is. But, moms be seeing their babies in a different light because, they carry them and everything. And or that just motherly thing, even if they didn't carry them, they adopted them. It doesn't matter. There's something about moms to kids that has them see their child with rose-colored glasses, even though they shouldn't. Now, here's what you as a dance dad have to do. Just so you know. You have to fully dive into your emotional stability because one of your roles is going to be mitigating emotions of everybody else around you. Now, I'm not saying that this is every single time. I'm not saying this is every single person. What I am saying is this, though. You are going to see situations occur that don't make no god darn sense. And you're going to have to stay calm and chill in the midst of it. And I'm not saying that you will every single time because this weekend, my face told all of a story of I'm ready to go. But let me give you an example. I saw a young girl who, I don't know, maybe she was stressed because her team did not get the score she wanted. Maybe she herself, may have missed a turn or missed a place or just did something that was out of what she thought she was going to be doing on that stage when the moment presented itself. Or she just been in this environment where it's chaotic and that is just not good for her or him. But in this particular case, this young girl, whose mama had gone to get her lunch and ain't but so much in supply to eat. She dang near cussed her mama out because she got the order wrong. Mind you, even if she put the order in right, the people working there probably were taking 27,000 orders because ain't nothing in supply to eat except for fast food and everybody going to the same places unless you want to drive to Charlotte. And that ain't the worst drive in the world, but not everybody want to do that. Let me say this with the utmost respect. As I saw this little girl do this to her mom, I said, the devil is a lie. And that she better be glad she ain't my child. Because here's what would have happened. Me. Little girl, you got one more time to talk to me like that because I promise it'll be the last thing you say to me without having tears. Because I'll whoop you right in front of all these people. Now, some of you guys right there said, oh my gosh, you put your hands on your girl. If you campaign for a butt whooping, don't be upset when you get elected. Now, we give grace because we know this is a bit of a chaotic scene. But every one of them children know there is a line that you don't cross. Now, if you want to go ahead and cartwheel right over that line, you're going to deal with what happens. And me as a father, if I ever see my child run up on my wife like that, I will embarrass you. And you'll never do that again. Maybe not the way y'all would do it who's listening. I get it. Do your thing. But when I saw this child acting this level of fool with their mama, I really just said, you know what? I'm going to mind my business, because that is probably the best thing in this situation. Because I caught myself staring this child down like, please feel my eyes. And I'm trying to psychically tell you, shut up, because you out of line. But again, that's the environment. That child is probably a phenomenal kid who never, well, I don't know, never, but who may not often get out of line. And yet, in this environment, it's one of them things. And as a dance dad, I realize that it may be my child sometime. It may not be my child. Right now, mine are little, so there's not really all that. They're just glad to be there. But I get it if you got a teen, preteen, it could happen. Because they're dealing with all the hormones, they're dealing with all the things and so on and so forth and blah, 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 blah. Also, moms. Now, I unfortunately walked out of the lobby of this particular venue, the community college, I believe. And shout out to Regine Hunter. Some of y'all know who I'm talking about, living single. My ears were just assaulted by these two moms talking sideways about somebody else's mama. I don't know why they were talking. I didn't ask to hear this, and yet I heard. I'm not going to repeat what they said because there was a whole lot of B's and H's getting thrown around, and then they started talking about that woman's child. I said, if you going to talk about somebody's baby, knowing good and goddamn well what you would do if somebody talked about your baby, you might not want to do it right outside a door where that woman could come through and hear you talking greasy, chatting nonsense. But furthermore, I often wonder, are these moms this way just a competition, or is this kind of who you are and competition just brings it out of you a little bit more? I don't know, because I'm certain there's backstory. Whether it's true or not, there's backstory. But guys, what you need to understand, and I'm talking to all the dance parents and cheer parents too, because it's the same goddamn thing, but to dance dads in particular, you're going to have to be steady as she goes. Because you're going to have to dive all the way into emotional stability. Because when the world around you is losing its mind, you got to somehow remain sane. And that chaos does not make it easy. Now, I don't know who might have told you that everything in life that is planned goes as planned. If they told you that, they lied to you or they have never lived any part of life. Because when you are a dance dad, you must prepare for things to not happen the way that you think they're going to happen. What do I mean? I mean, I literally will walk through a lobby. I will be in the audience. I might have to take something back to my wife, not in necessarily the dressing room, but like this little like area right before you go into the dressing rooms where, parents might meet their kid who's coming out of the dressing room to like do something. And I'm watching parents sew outfits. I'm watching parents reapply makeup, because you do understand you get points deductions if your makeup is not crisp, just like everybody else. If you come out plain faced and everybody else is glammed up, they're gonna notice. I've seen people think, okay, this stocking has a run in it, so we're just gonna go with no stockings, or are we gonna borrow stockings from somebody else who's in a whole nother dance and just hope that they fit right? But then if they do fit right, that we don't get a run in them so that we mess up that person's dance. Like, I've seen it all, and the thing that I take away from all of that is adaptation is key. If you cannot adapt on the fly, it's gonna be tough for you. And again, I'm not necessarily saying that you're always going to encounter things that don't go right. And even when they don't go right, it's not going to be catastrophic every single time, but there are going to be moments where you're going to have to make a quick adjustment and you're going to have to make it up. Like, let me give an example. Dads, I'm not necessarily saying that you got to sew, or that you got to learn how to stitch things, or that you got to learn how to do makeup. But please figure out how to do a ponytail. You take the brush, you brush the hair back. Hold the hair now that it's brushed tight. Brush it one more time, get the side. Hold that right there. Brush the other side. Brush it back, boom, hold that right there. Now it's tight. You might have to hit a little hairspray. All that. Then you put a little hair tie or rubber band, or what? Not a rubber band, actually. That's going to rip their hair out. But like a little thing, and you tie the hair up in a nice tight ponytail, boom, bow. I'm not saying that that is the hairstyle that they're going to need every single time, but my God, you will have to figure out how to do your baby hair. Now, I'm not saying that you don't, but if you don't, get with it immediately. Because in this dance dad world, my God, you're going to have to do things that maybe you didn't think as a dad you would have to do, much less as a competition dad. Because in your mind, you might have thought, you know what? I just got to make sure that I work hard, earn the necessary money to keep these kids in this program. I got to go ahead and make sure I got enough money to pay for the hotels. We got to budget that throughout the year. I got to make sure that, if my wife is taking them to, the rehearsals throughout the week, that I'm at home and I'm making dinner or pre-packing lunches or something like that. Or if I'm a single dad, because I've been a single dad too, that I'm getting them to the venue for the competition. I got to just put them miles in, but that's my job. That's it. I just got to get them there safe in one piece, and when they get there, go. Nah, son, I disagree. That ain't how the game goes. And if you didn't know that, welcome to the game. Because what you're going to need to do is be ready to change whenever you are needed. What does that look like? What it might mean, hey, run to the store real quick, because there's always a Walmart somewhere. Now, you can feel how you want to feel about a Walmart, but in a pinch, the dollar store, Dollar Tree, and Walmart pretty much got what you need. You got to go run and get something because they need something, because, oh my goodness, heaven forbid, you forgot something. Let me go ahead and let you know, you're going to forget something every single time. You just hope it ain't something big, but you going to forget something. Maybe that looks like, hey, I need you to take this outfit to the sink and cold water and rinse this thing out. We got to get the stain off of this all white uniform. My God, I have always wondered. Side note, coach's timeout. I've always wondered why kids decide to eat lunch in their all white uniform, and it's not like they eat something that's like full of mayo or maybe has a white sauce, because that's going to leave a stain too. But at least it's white. No, they be eating stuff with like buffalo sauce and hot sauce and ketchup on your all white uniform. Stop. I need this to be just a PSA to all of the kids. Take your uniform off, put on some other clothes, eat your lunch, and then switch back in. We're not going to have these stains on these all white uniforms. And also, studios. I understand that some dances call for an all white uniform, but if it does not, don't do that to yourself, because it's just more stress than you need. But hey, if something does happen, dance dad, prepare to go to a sink and rinse that thing out. Also, dance dad, hey, you might want to bring your tools, because you might be called upon to fix a prop. I know some of the prop dads who are also dance dads who have been with Wake Forest Academy of Fine Arts for so long. And shout out to my guy Brad Elliott. Dude always has his tools with him. Why? Because he might need him to fix something. And he's not the only dad. It's just, that's what you got to do. And again, it's not something that you see in the form when you're signing up your child for competition, assuming that they try out and they actually make the competition squad. It's just part of what comes with it. Now, if you cannot adapt, I say this humbly and respectfully, I hope your wife can. And if she can't, I hope your child can. Because somebody gonna have to adapt, because that's the name of the competition game. And that ain't never gonna change. Now, for those of you who are hearing all of this, and maybe you're about to be a competition dad, competition parent, generally speaking, or, cheer parent, dance parent, doesn't matter. I say this not to scare you. because all of this is just letting you know what the world looks like. And again, there's levels to this. What I may be experiencing might be mild to what you, veteran of 10, 15 plus years in the dance dad situation, have experienced. Maybe everything I'm saying is like, wow, that is crazy to me because I ain't had none of them experiences. And listen, 'tis life. That's awesome. I am glad for you. But I guess I want to just make sure that you understand that there's value to all that nonsense, all the BS, all the long miles, all the money invested, all the mitigating of emotions, all of the adaptation, the shifts, the changes, the being on your toes so that you can help out wherever you can, all of the volunteering, because you're going to volunteer or you're going to be voluntold that you got to do this, that, and the third, because you're doing it for your girl. You're doing it for your boy, and they love dance. So you're here at the competition. Let's talk about competition. Because some of you folks who listen to this might, maybe not even have kids yet, or maybe you've got kids and you're thinking about putting them in dance or you're thinking about doing this. If you are doing things recreationally, that is phenomenal. Recreational dance, in particular, recreational cheerleading, helps them cultivate a love for the sport. It allows them to get an experience of being taught. So you're getting an opportunity to have your children take direction from someone else other than you. And trust and believe you need to have your children able to listen to other voices, trusted voices, besides your own. And you want them to cultivate relationships with other trusted adults so that when they decide not to tell you something, and they will, well, no, my baby is always open with me and she tells me everything and he's an open book. He loves to share. Okay, cool. There will be things they don't tell you. I need you to stop being so naive that you know they're at least sharing it with or have the opportunity to, based on their relationship developed, share it with a trusted adult. It's awesome. And again, that doesn't mean they have to be on a competition team. That doesn't mean that they've got to be traveling the world doing dance. No, they can be recreational, coming 1 or 2 times a week. And it gets them moving, gets them up, gets them active. That's a beautiful thing. And you can start to create community too. Because, the other moms and dads who are bringing their kids there for the 1 or 2 days where they get to dance a little bit and, maybe they are, doing a dance and working on some different skills for a recital. That is awesome. And you guys get to bond over that. And I know even at our studio, there are like families that are lifelong locked in friends because they met at dance. When you step into the world of competition, understand that there's value there too. Let me tell you this, and I'm going to say it with the entirety of my chest, nipples and all. If you believe your child really wants to pursue dance, they better be competing, because if they ain't competing, I'm sorry, they're going to go and walk into a world that is only competition. Yes, it's creativity. Yes, it's beauty. Yes, it's excitement. Yes, it's fun. Yes, it's camaraderie and community, but it is competition. Here's what I mean. I have never personally gone on a dance audition, but I know plenty of dancers who do. And number one, the dance world is small. Now we see America's Best Dance Crew. So you think you can dance, Dancing with the Stars, or we think, oh my goodness, this dance world is international and humongous. No, 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 no. The people who dance are all around the world. Everybody can dance. There are dance crews everywhere. There are folks who salsa, merengue. There are folks who ballroom dance, who lindy hop, who swing, who do hip hop, all of it. There are ballets all over the world. All of that is fine. But in terms of the dance world, and let's be specific here. Let's take the dance world as in the commercial world, right? You got LA, New York, you got some other spots as well, maybe Chicago, but they're so interconnected. I've literally known some folks to maybe go into the dance world, and because maybe they had a tiff or riff or a little altercation with one person, one director, even if the director was completely in the wrong, that individual then was, for all intents and purposes, blackballed, blacklisted, whatever you want to call it, from certain other opportunities because of that one director's word to this person who then knew this person who then knew this person, and then word got around about one argument, and it messed up this particular section of their career's trajectory. It's just a small world, guys. And one of the biggest parts of that small world is competition. There are only so many roles. There's only so many spots. There are only so many concerts. There are opportunities to dance everywhere, but when folks think dance and think professional dance, a lot of the time they're thinking music videos, movies, tours. When you go into an audition, the audition director, judge does not care how many hours you put in to perfecting this technique or how many rehearsals you did to make sure that you got this number perfect. Because if on the day you don't do what you need to do, thank you for coming. Because they're not taking into consideration all the things that you've already done. They're not really looking too much at your resume. They're going to consider it. Maybe if there's some names on there that they recognize and it's like, okay, so clearly there are certain things that we don't have to think about with you, given that you've danced for this person, with this organization, or under the tutelage of this individual. Because again, it's a small world, but you still have to perform on the day. And there's pressure that comes from having to do a whole lot of work and then walk into a room and perform and get it right. You could have gotten it right 8 out of 10 times in rehearsal. And then the day before you ran it one time and it was flawless. That don't mean a god darn thing if you don't do it today. That's pressure. And you already know that there are 20 other people looking to get this same spot. That's competition. If your child is looking to get into that world, they had better be competing. And I know that that might seem a bit harsh, a bit rough, but it's the truth. It is a fact that if they're not competing now, then their body, their mind is not going to get used to being in pressure situations, so that when they do walk into that audition, they're either going to have excited jitters or nervousness running through them. That really depends on how often they've competed and how many times they've been put in situations where there's pressure to perform on the spot. Now, this is not me saying get your kids into competition right now. This is not me saying that the only route to being a professional dancer is to do audition after audition after audition. But what I am saying is you're going to have to audition at some point. So you should probably do that at your studio for a competition team so that you can then get the opportunity to compete and be in those pressure situations over and over again until you get used to them. Doesn't mean that you're never ever nervous again. It just means that now you're used to the feeling that is about to come on. Additionally, please understand that you're going to have pressure situations outside of dance. This is a life lesson. Guys, at a certain point, it does come down to performance, not practice, not preparation. All those are key. But did you perform the task? Did you perform in that presentation? Did you do the thing you said you were going to do? In competition, there are life lessons that are in abundance. In dance and cheer, there is a certain something that I think all athletes, regardless of sport, learn, and that is teamwork. Because even if you're dancing a solo, you have to work with a teacher. You are the team right there. There's emotional regulation. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. You've got to do your best to remain just level. And then there is being able to perform your best under pressure. Now, some of you are like, my God, that sounds like a lot for a 10-year-old, for an 11-year-old, for a 12-year-old, 13-year-old. Maybe, but let me ask you this. Is it better for them to experience some of these high pressure situations in an environment where they have you who's backing them up and supporting them? They've got a team who's backing them up and supporting them. And they've got trusted adults, their teachers, their studio heads, owners, directors who are backing them up, encouraging them, building them up, and helping them to make the slight adjustments every time they go out so that they can get better and better and better? Or would you rather wait until they get out into the real world and now you got to hope that you gave them enough to sustain when it gets tough? I would rather put a bunch of good things into my kid in terms of self-esteem, self-worth, their capacity for discipline, and then also put them in an environment that is loving, encouraging, but that is going to allow them to do hard things safely and supported so that doing hard things is just normal to them. That's competition. That's life. So yeah, it was a weekend. I really didn't get into too much of all the things that happened because, well, there were a lot of things, but mostly good. I mean, most of this weekend was just me having to deal with my emotions about the fact that my children acted a whole goddamn fool because they're, 7 and 4. So it's just one of them things where they were at a competition where mommy couldn't be around them. They had to deal with dad the whole time. They wanted to do a bunch of things, and we couldn't do everything we wanted to do because, I still got to be there to help mommy if she needs it. If she calls me, I got to be able to run to the store to do a thing or bring something there or make something happen there. And at a certain point, even the best of kids can get a little interesting. But I will tell you one of the things about competition, and I'll leave you with this. Go to enough competitions and you get to have conversations, especially as a dance dad with other dads. And there's a commonality that just runs through all of us. And it's that we are doing the best we can. I don't know necessarily who needs to hear this. And I'm not necessarily trying to get super deep, but if it hits you deep, let it go deep. You are doing the best you can with what you have. Shout out to you for doing that. If there's one thing that I see consistently at competitions, I see dads doing their best to be of service or get out of the way. And I don't necessarily think that dance dads know coming into it what their role is. Again, they may think they know, but what I have seen, and I've seen this consistently, is dance dads at these competitions. It's almost like they just want to make sure that things run as smoothly as possible. And when something happens to be ridiculous, that they can help to mitigate the situation as best they can. Because really, what dance dads want is really what every dad wants. Their family to be safe and happy and peace. And also something else, but that ain't got nothing to do with dance. Come on, somebody. Y'all have a good one. Hey, everybody, that's our show. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. I'm somebody's dad, just figuring it out. Hopefully you got something from today's episode. Like it, share, subscribe, get involved in the comments, tell a friend to tell a friend. And until next time, smile a little bit more. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and I will see you on the next episode.